So, good morning and welcome to our power yoga. So, different aesthetic this morning, working out of the studio at Pace down in Brisbane, which is a little bit brighter than my apartment, which is nice. So, welcome to our power and core. I said it would be this morning, didn't I? So, for those watching live, good morning. Thank you for making it out of bed this early, especially on our colder mornings here, even in Queensland. By cold, I mean maybe less than 15 degrees in Queensland. We're spoiled. But we'll just start by coming into our Shavasana, laying down. We've been up maybe only for a couple of minutes, but we're back down on the floor, laying on our backs and just checking in. So especially in these cold mornings, we do this head to toe scan just to notice where we're feeling particularly tight. So if you're like me, these colder mornings, particularly through the hamstrings, I feel it, even just the joints, not just the muscle and the tissue of the body. Maybe through the extremities, the fingertips, the toes, the nose. Maybe we've got a heater on, maybe we're nice and warm. Whatever situation we're in, we just take this moment at the beginning of our practice to check in. And the purpose of this is to get this greater awareness of what's going on in the body. Whether that's coldness, whether it's tightness, whether it's stress or tension that we store, or whether we're looking after injuries, if we've got aches or pains going on. This is the moment to just set an intention to practice this self-care this morning. Not trying to push ourselves. The name power yoga sort of brings this connotation of force or overstriving, pushing ourselves, but in fact it's just about movement. Our power yoga is more of a flow than some of our other more static practices. And the idea of our power yoga at 6 a.m. on a cold morning is to warm up the body. So we're not trying to force ourselves, we're not trying to push ourselves to extremes. We're just using this more dynamic practice of yoga to heat ourselves up and to create a little bit more mobility through the body. So just scanning, noticing those areas that may need that particular care this morning. Knowing that our practice of yoga is completely personal. We can change it, we can modify it however we'd like. We can take rest at any time. As we just settle into our breath, noticing the depth of our inhales and extending a little bit through our exhales, nice and long. As we breathe in, we're drawing in deep down to the belly, expanding up to chest, and releasing from the chest, down and out through the belly. Letting go of any expectations that we have for ourselves this morning. Or our practice, not trying to achieve anything. We're just here to look after ourselves. As a core power yoga, we'll have plenty of challenges through the class this morning. It's up to us to find our own edge, to challenge ourselves in a way that's still practicing that self-care. As we add a little wriggle through fingers and toes, we'll draw ourselves into our ball, squeezing in nice and tight, taking that bear hug, a little sway left and right. And just taking the hands to the knees, so So keeping the knees together, just moving around in circles, one way or the other, doesn't matter. We're just going to freestyle here. This is my favorite way to start a practice because it really is just, we're moving in a way that feels most natural for the body. So it's this immediate listening in to what feels good. We're not just doing a pose for a pose's sake. Just feel into the lower back. Whatever feels good to move through that. And then coming back to center, we'll take our happy baby, taking the hands to the outsides of the feet or maybe peace fingers to the big toes. Opening those soles of the feet to the ceiling or sky if we're lucky enough to be practicing outside. Lengthening that tailbone towards the mat so we're nice and long through those lower vertebrae as we feel these knees draw down towards the mat. And let's take the soles of the feet together to touch, tucking the chin in towards the chest. We're drawing the feet and the head towards each other. Keeping that chin tucked in, noticing if those shoulders want to hunch up. Just keeping them nice and relaxed down away from the head and ears. We're going to release our left leg nice and long. We're going to keep hold of this right foot. We're going to hover the heel off the mat, drawing those toes towards the chest. So we're engaging our core. We're warming up these tummy muscles now. We're just keeping that left leg hovering, drawing this right foot as if we were trying to take it behind the head. Again, check in with those shoulders. If they're creeping up, relax them down. And then releasing that left heel to the floor, opening this right foot up to the sky, taking our half happy baby, so we've got this left leg nice and long. And then taking this right foot, as we bend the left knee, taking this right foot across into our thread the needle, our right arm coming through, interlacing those fingers, drawing that left leg in towards the chest as we relax down through the head and shoulders. And releasing this side, taking both soles of the feet back together, hands around, chin tucks in, drawing those feet, the head, drawing a little closer towards each other. And then lengthening our right leg nice and long, taking hold of this left foot, so the right toes drawing back in, we're nice and engaged through the top of the leg. That left foot as if we're taking it behind the head. That belly button draws in towards the mat. We're gently pressing that lower back to the floor. Releasing that right heel to the floor now, opening that sole of the left foot to the sky. Resting the head, the shoulders to the mat. And then taking this left foot across as we bend that right knee. Now thread the needle on the opposite side, left arm coming through, interlace, and relaxing down, gently drawing this right leg towards the chest. Soften through those facial muscles. check in with the breath. And releasing this side. Taking our ball, we'll take our hands to the knees. Drawing that core, we're going to wake ourselves up a little. We're going to start rocking and rolling. We're going to use these core muscles. We're going to spin around 360 degrees. So use that core. We're not just trying to use momentum here. We're tucking those tips of the hips in towards the ribs. Doing a full circle. I haven't done this. Oh, I'm off to my side. I haven't done this one in a class in a while. So it should be around halfway or past. Keep going around, rock. So feel the core contract as we take these little movements. Until we come all the way back to our feet facing the front of our mat. We're going to keep this rock and roll. If we're not quite 360 by now, you can use hands for support. Keep rocking forwards and backwards, that core tucked in, using that momentum now to make our way all the way up to seated. A little bit of fun to start our practice. Get that body moving. Let's inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, relaxing down through the shoulders, through the back of the body. We're going to inhale, hands rise up. As we exhale, we'll take this right hand down to the mat, reaching those left fingertips over, keeping that left side hip to the floor. So we inhale, hands rise. Exhale, opposite side. Inhale, lift. So we're lifting, lengthening up the sides of the body. Exhale, taking that stretch. This is our flow here. Getting a little bit more length down each side with each exhale. So again, we're keeping grounded through those sit bones. We're not trying to lift up. We lose that stretch. We want to create as much space between that pinky finger and that side hip. We'll take one more on each side. This time we're going to hold this side for another inhale. So taking our breath in. As we exhale, taking our sweep, so painting, brushing those semicircles with the fingertips as we inhale to open. Exhale, down and around. So we're getting this rotation through the trunk, through the lower back, warming up along the spine, this gentle twist. Opening up through the chest on the inhales, gazing up towards the sky. So we're opening up that through that top shoulder, still lengthening through the fingertips. So we're getting this side stretch with this extra little twist. One more on each side. And this time we'll come all the way up with an inhale, so taking this side stretch, then lengthening up. As we exhale, this left hand to our right knee, our right hand coming behind the body. We'll inhale to lengthen. Exhale, coming into our twist. So continue to use those inhales to lift a little taller. And on our exhales, maybe we can deepen into the twist, or maybe just getting a little bit more comfortable where we are. One more breath in. Exhale, returning back through center. Inhale, hands rise. Exhale, opposite side. Take that breath in to lift. And our breath out to twist. Last deep belly breath in. Exhale, back through center. Let's walk these hands forward. So coming into a tabletop position, we'll start with our cat-cow. Spread those fingers, press through the palms, knees under hips. Let's inhale, drop the belly, open the chest towards the front of the mat. As we exhale, tucking that tailbone under, rounding through the spine, we're warming up this flexion, extension of the back, the vertebra. So just continuing to move with the breath. It's a good one, these cold mornings, warming up the spine. I'm going to continue to talk to the camera as if everyone's practicing at 6 a.m. with me when I know full well that most people are going to be sleeping in and watching this at about 9 o'clock. But for the early birds out there like me, it is good to jump out of bed and get straight into a practice. Keep moving with this breath, keep warming up the spine, and then coming back to our neutral, our flat back. We're going to tuck our toes under, warming up this core a little further. We're going to come into our tabletop hover. So toes tucked under, hovering our knees just a centimetre or two off the mat. So we're as close to the mat with those knees as we can without touching. We're not lifting our hips all the way up and knees off the ground. We just want to lift slightly so that we feel that tailbone tuck under. Core is tight and our breath is flowing. So we're holding the pose, we're holding our hover without holding our breath. Check in with those facial muscles if we're tensing to hold here. So that sad puppy dog tail, tuck it under. Tighten that core a little further. And then releasing those knees to the mat. We'll bring our big toes together, just taking a little child's pose here. Hips to heels. Relaxing down and out. Softening through that core now. We're relaxing all the way down through the hips to the toes. Let's inhale back up to tabletop. And tucking toes under, coming into our downward facing dog. Take our time. So remembering here we can have the backs of our legs, our legs bent. This mat's a lot slipperier than my one at home. I think I might have made a mistake here. I can feel my hand slipping. So our option modification is to come to knees, coming into our happy baby. Our downward puppy, if that feels good. I mean, you're welcome to take happy baby if you'd like. But just pedaling out here, letting that head relax. Adding a nod, yes or no, maybe. Oh boy, I think downward dogs are going to be a bit tricky on this mat for me this morning. Should have BYO'd. Okay, let's walk these feet towards the front of the mat. Coming into our ragdoll. So just folding, bending through the knees, folding at the hips, taking these hands to opposite elbows. Add a little sway left and right. Checking in with those hamstrings, the lower back. And back to center, releasing those fingertips to the mat. We'll inhale a half lift. So we're lengthening through the crown of the head, feeling those shoulders relax back as we exhale, fold forwards. Again, inhale, half lift, palms running up the shins. Exhale, fold. One more time, inhale. Exhale, fold it forwards. Press through those feet. On our inhale, we're going to rise all the way up to standing, lengthening up through these fingertips. On our exhale, we're taking a back bend, so we're opening up through the heart, engage the glutes and the core. Inhale, lengthen up the sides of the body. Exhale, dive it forwards. Taking a half lift here, so inhale, lengthen, flattening through the back. Exhale, fold. Bend those knees, press those feet into the earth as we inhale, rise. Exhale, open the heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, dive over. Beautiful. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise it all the way up. This time we're going to take a little side bend. So planting that right foot into the floor, leaning over to that left side. So we're stretching down that right side of the body. Inhale, back up tall. Exhale, opposite side. Inhale, lift. We're taking our back bend on our next exhale. Open through the heart. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, our half lift. Exhale, hands to mat, stepping back into our high plank. All right, working this core this morning. So we're going to hold here for a few breaths. So we've got our option to be on our toes, or we can lower down to our knees if that's more comfortable. But keeping that belly button hugging in towards the spine. Taking those deep belly breaths. Tucking that tailbone under. And keeping those facial features nice and soft. Warming up this arm strength for our reverse chaturangas to come. Okay, take another breath in. Exhale, chaturanga, nice and low. Keep those elbows closed. Inhale, opening to our cobra or our upward facing dog if that's feeling good for us this morning. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful, either pedaling out here or drawing those heels to the mat. Lifting up through those sit bones to draw that chest towards the thighs. And let's gaze forwards, bend those knees, step or hop, feet to front of mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise it up. We'll take our little side bends again. So planting that right foot, exhale, leaning over to the left, lengthening that right side. Inhale, center. Exhale, opposite side. Inhale, lift. Back bend, exhale, open. Inhale, rise. Exhale, dive it over. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, folding forwards here. Coming into our twist, we're going to warm up these hamstrings now. So we're bending that right knee slightly further, inhaling that left hand to sky. As we exhale, returning that hand to the mat or the shins, bending that left knee a little further, inhale, right hand to rise. Moving with that breath, so we're going to continue this flow. Inhale. We're opening up through the chest. Exhale, returning that hand down. So we're not just stretching along the back of the legs here. We want to keep this chest nice and open. We're lengthening through the spine. Just moving with full inhales, full exhale. Okay, we'll return back to our forward fold. We're going to inhale these hands to rise. Hands running up the shins, half lift. Exhale, hands to mat. Step or hop back to our plank. Taking a breath in here. As we exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, open. Exhale, downward facing dog. Starting to warm up a little more now. Let's gaze it forwards, bend those knees, step or hop, feet to front. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise tall. This time on our exhale, we're just going to fold straight back forwards. Keep that chest open all the way down. As we inhale, half lift. Hands to mat, high plank, step or hop. Take our breath in at the top. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. This time, let's walk these hands to the back of our mat, ground the heels. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold it forwards. Inhale, reverse that dive, rise it up. As we exhale, folding forwards, keeping this heart open. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, the hands to mat, walking forwards, high plank. Okay, double chaturanga here. Or reverse chaturanga, so taking that breath in at the top. As we exhale, we're going to lower down just as far as comfortable so we can hover, and on our inhale, big push up. Beautiful. On our exhale, all the way down. On this in-breath, taking our back bend. And then exhale, downward facing dog. All right, walking those hands back, heels to ground. So warming up this upper body here. Let's inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Reverse the dive. Inhale, nice and tall. Lengthen up the sides of the body. I'm going to fix my microphone. As we exhale, take that dive over. Big swan dive down. Inhale, half lift. Hands to mat, walk it forwards, high plank. Doing our triple. So, holding here, getting steady. Core engage first. Take that breath in. Exhale, lowering down just as far as comfortable here. Keep those elbows in close. Inhale, big push up. Beautiful. Exhale, lower. Another one. So inhale, big push. Exhale, lowering all the way to mat. Inhale, this up dog. Keeping those shoulders relaxed. Let's exhale, downward dog. Walk those hands back to feet. Grounding through the soles of the feet out. Inhale, half lift. Lengthen through that spine. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, reach it tall. Exhale, dive it over. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands to mat, high plank. All right. So remembering these can be toes or knees. We can start on our toes. We can do a few on our knees. Take that breath in at the top. Exhale, lowering down. Moving with our breath. So we've got 3 of these in total now, I think, or something like that. I said to Sarah the other day, it's nice being the yoga teacher because we can just decide how many we do. Once we get sick of them, we'll stop. Okay, I think one more. Exhale, low. Inhale, open. So remembering we can relax at any time. We can come down to child's pose if that feels good. If the shoulders are feeling it this morning, it no longer feels like self-care. If we're just trying to push ourselves into these, inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Okay, rise up. Exhale, dive it over. Trying to talk, cue, breathe, and move. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, high plank. So, taking that breath in at the top. Exhale, chaturanga. Keep the elbows in tight. Feel them graze the ribs. Inhale, big push up. Exhale, lower. So keep moving with this breath. Another option is if we find that we've got the strength to lower down from our toes, but we can't push up without those hips dropping, lower the knees to the floor just for the inhale to lift. Then we can lift our knees and do the exhale for lower. It's a way that we can sort of strengthen with levels to increase our ability to do that reverse chaturanga or push-ups. So just see how you go. Or again, we might like to stay on the knees for the lower as well. But our focus is keeping strong through the core. Okay, you reckon we've done enough? Let's exhale all the way down. Inhale, open. Exhale, child's pose. Big toes together. Easing our way back, hips to heels. Maybe some shoulders, relaxing in relief here. How's that belly breathing going? Okay, let's inhale back to our tabletop position. From here, we're going to inhale, or no, next inhale. So lengthening out that right arm, left leg. Taking this balance here. So extending through the fingertips. We can either extend through the toes or draw the toes back towards the chest, lengthening through the heel. It'll strengthen, activate the muscles along that front of the left leg. Holding our balance here, take a breath in. As we exhale, this right elbow to left knee. So we're rounding through that spine, crunching in. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. One more time, inhale long.
Exhale, tuck it under. One more, so we're going to inhale nice long through the arm and leg, using our exhale to just place this hand and knee back to the floor into our tabletop position. Swapping sides, let's inhale, lengthen through the left arm, right leg. Finding this balance here. So our balance is a practical application of this core work. So a lot of our balance stabilizes through these core muscles. Once we're steady, take that breath in. Exhale, elbow to knee, tucking under. Inhale, long. Exhale, core engage. One more time, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tuck it under. Taking that inhale nice and long. Exhale, hand and foot to mat. Let's come back to our child's pose. Big toes to touch, easing down here. Relaxing a little, or a lot, preferably a lot. Softening down into this. So feeling that tension just soften all the way. Start at the fingertips. Work your way up the arms to the shoulders. Anywhere we're holding that tension. So especially after those reverse chaturangas, around the shoulder area, through the backs of the arms. Consciously lengthening, loosening these muscle fibers. Moving our way down the torso, the sides of the body, the core muscles. And then down through the hips we soften, the legs heavy. Let's inhale back to our tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. From here we're going to inhale this left heel to the sky. As we exhale, taking this left knee to the left elbow. So using that core, inhale, lengthening that left leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, opposite elbow. So we're coming across the body, using more the obliques this time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to nose, chin to chest, tucking under. Beautiful. Inhale, nice and long once again. So exhale, over that left elbow. Opposite side. So keep going. This is one, I'll give an option, an alternative. So if we don't feel comfortable doing it in downward dog, is do it through tabletop. So we can lengthen out, taking that knee to nose, chin to chest. We'll work through our other side. So releasing that left foot to the mat. Inhaling that right heel to sky. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale long. Exhale across the body. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, so tucking that chin to chest, knee to nose. One more time through the side. Again, if we've got that option of tabletop, lengthening out. Drawing that core in as we take that knee to elbow. Lengthen long through that heel. Keep the toes drawn in towards the chest. Opposite side, we can still bring it underneath the body. And then knee to nose, chin to chest. Making our way from wherever we are in our tabletop, our downward dog, easing our way back to child's pose. Taking those few breaths here. Okay, inhale back to tabletop. Either coming directly into our downward facing dog, or if we like to, tucking those toes under, moving through our vinyasa, taking our flow. So we're coming back to meet in our downward facing dog. From here, we're going to inhale that left heel to the sky again. As we exhale, that knee to left elbow. We're going to do 3 all on this one side. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, same side. One more time. Inhale long. Exhale. Knee to elbow. This time we're going to inhale nice and long. On our exhale, we're stepping this left foot outside the left hand. So we're coming into our lizard lunge. Let's lower that right knee to the mat. So we'll take our options here. Fix up this microphone. So we can either lower ourselves down on the inside of this left leg, or the torso on the inside of the left leg. So we can keep this knee to the mat, or we can tuck those toes under and lower down that way, if that feels comfortable. Or we can keep this knee to the mat. Another option, if we'd like to, take hold, so that right hand for support, this left hand reaching behind, taking the outside of the foot. Always that thumbs up position as we draw that heel in towards the hip. And just getting this opening through the hips, the hip flexors. So they counteract our core muscles. If we've got this tightness through the hip flexors, it draws the front of the hips down, back of the hips up, can cause some compression, tightness, discomfort in that lower back. So by both working the core and stretching out through the hips and hip flexors, we can bring a lot of relief to any lower back pain or tightness that we experience. So that's actually how I got into yoga, was lower back pain. I used to ride a bicycle when I was studying, and I used to carry a bag full of books, which was just a terrible idea. Riding a bike for 30 or more minutes caused me a lot of lower back pain, and this specifically was the stretch that really helped me ease that out a lot. So if you've done my classes, you notice I had a lot of this hip opening sequences in, because even, not that you have to ride a bike, it's just sitting down at a desk all day will do the same thing. All right, let's ease out this side. Warm these heart rate up a little bit. So we're going to tuck our right toes under. Now move at your own speed for this. We're going to change sides. So we're going to bring our right foot outside the right hand. And then once we're comfortable here, swap it back. So this can be either a step or a hop. Take your time. You might like to go to high plank and step the opposite side. We can even have the knees to the mat if we're more comfortable doing that. Just a little bit of mobility this morning, but warming ourselves up. Start doing these changes side to side. Pick our pace. Take our time. If we're feeling comfortable, if the hips are warm, starting to take that jump swap. Notice the sound that we're making with the feet. Try to make it, don't want to make a loud thud, as soft as we can with the feet. And then coming back to our lizard with that left foot outside the left hand. Coming back to our three-legged dog. So inhale, left heel to sky, exhale, return it to the mat. My hands are getting sweaty. I'm starting to slide even more on this mat. Inhale, right heel to sky. Exhale. Oh, I've forgotten one. We've got to take those knees to elbows. So 3 of these side. I don't know if my hands are going to hold here. 1 more. Exhale. Look, going to walk in a little bit. Inhale long. Exhale. Stepping that right foot out. Taking our lizard lunge on our other side. I'm going to take my time to recollect myself. So we've got our options here. We can start to lower ourselves down. So we're getting this opening through the hips this way. Or taking that right hand behind, taking hold of that back foot. I'm trying to talk while puffing from those bloody changeovers. Bring that heel in towards the hip. Just noticing where in those hips we feel it, that tension, that stretch sensation the most, seeing if we're going to ease out. Just consciously, again, just softening through those muscles. Work with the breath. On an exhale, bring a little, dissolve a little further tension through that space. And let's ease that left foot to the mat if we've taken hold. Both hands on the inside of the right foot. We're only halfway through those changeovers, so tucking those back toes under or keeping the knee to the mat if that's more preferable. And taking our change. So swapping that left foot outside the left hand. When we're done, swap it back. Keeping support of those palms underneath the shoulders. Taking our time. Soft as we can with our landings. Taking one more each side. Finishing with that right foot outside the right hand. Coming into our three-legged dog. Exhale, down dog. And releasing down for child's pose. Knees to mat. Big toes to touch, hips to heels. Catching our breath here. Those knees can be together or apart, arms out in front or down by the sides. I need to stop talking. Just notice at this point the warmth in the body compared to when we first started our practice. On our inhale, come to tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Actually, we'll take a little flow. On our inhale, we'll come to high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, open. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale that left heel to sky. Exhale, step it through for our crescent lunge. Taking our time, so getting our stance here, balanced. Rising those hands up nice and tall. And lowering down through those hips a little. We can either hold here or take a breath in, lengthen up the sides of the body. As we exhale, core engaged, tuck that belly button in as we fold forwards, reaching behind with the fingertips. So inhale, open. Lifting up through the fingertips, open through the chest. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lift. All right, option here, we can continue this flow, or if we'd like to, play with a little balance. As we inhale, press off the back foot, drawing that right knee towards the chest as we lift these fingertips tall. Exhale, we take that foot back, balance, strong, and releasing. Inhale, hands rise, so as that knee lifts, we're engaging through that core, the front tips of the hips towards the ribs. Exhale, slow and controlled back. At any time, we can bring both feet to the floor. And just take our time here. Any wobbles, if we're practicing at home, if we've got a sofa or a chair nearby if we need it for our balance. One more time. Inhale, hands rise. Lifting this knee towards the chest, we're going to come into our tree pose. Do a little turn here. So, taking this right foot, we'll take our hands down to heart center first, sorry. Taking this right foot to either the heel, the calf, and the inside of this thigh. So opening through the hips here, opening through that right knee. Option to rise up through the arms. And maybe branching out, that feels good. let's draw these hands back to heart center. We're going to come back to our crescent lunge. So I'm going to spin around. So I can do this. So seeing if we can keep that balance as we draw that right knee towards the chest. Slowly releasing it to the mat. In that lunge position, we'll inhale, hands rise. Exhale, frame that front foot. Step it back, high plank. Take our breath in. Exhale, chaturanga. We're moving through this flow. Take our time. We're just moving with our own breath now. As always, back to downward dog. Inhale, that right heel to sky. Exhale, step it through. Crescent lunge. Get steady. So get stable, balance. Rising up through the fingertips. And settling into the hips a little further. The shoulders, the shoulder blades releasing down the back. Option to hold here. Or draw that belly button into spine. Take our breath in, lengthen. Exhale, folding forwards, keeping the chest open as those fingertips reach behind. We don't want to just hunch over. Let's inhale, lift. Exhale, fold and reaching behind. Beautiful. Inhale, open. So again, we've got this option. We'd like to play with a little further balance. On that inhale, press off the back foot. Draw that knee to chest. Exhale, slow, controlled as we release that foot to the floor. Inhale, lengthen. So bring those hips forwards as that knee rises. We're engaging through that right glute as well. Help us with our balance. I think we got maybe one or two more on this side. Taking one last one. This time we're going to draw that knee all the way up, holding here. I'll do my little pivot. So coming off balance, coming into our tree pose. So taking those hands to heart center. That knee is up tall, taking that left foot either to heel, calf. I'm going to readjust here. Calf or up to that inner thigh. So opening up through that left side of the hip. And once we're feeling stable, maybe rising up through the arms, taking that branching out. So I find it's always good to check in on our balance with that tension, even if we're able to hold steady, if we're feeling stable, noticing if we're doing so by being really tense, or if we can just relax into it. So easy way to know is check in with those facial muscles. If there's grimacing, if there's frowning, I'm probably holding on or trying a little bit too hard, seeing if we can soften out. Bringing those hands back to center. Down to heart, we're coming back to our crescent lunge. I'll do my little spin, so we're bringing that left knee to chest. Exhale, slow and steady. Releasing back. Inhale, hands rise. Exhale, frame the foot. Step it back to plank. Move through our flow here. How much time do we have? Not a lot. Okay, let's come into our pigeon. We'll inhale this right heel to sky. Exhale that right foot towards that left wrist. And we're going to lengthen that left leg, easing our way down to our mats. So getting comfortable here. Time flies when you're doing reverse chaturangas. We'll just have to do part 2 next week. So if we've got pillows, if we've got blankets, we can use them for support. So all of these classes that I put online here, we're never going to need equipment. So I usually mention it at the beginning of the video. I think most of you know now, like it's just a comfortable mat to practice on. But anything that you'd like to use, so whether it's for comfort or support, anything around the house, any props that you've got, you're more than welcome to use those. Change sides, so we can walk these hands back. Coming back to our three-legged dog, tucking those left toes under, press strong through the arms, inhale that right heel to sky, returning it back to our downward dog. We'll inhale that left heel. Exhale, sending that left foot towards the right wrist. Coming into our pigeon on our opposite side. So we're keeping that right hip nice and low to the mat. Those hips are square. Any props that we'd like. Maybe we can stay up on the forearms. That's usually the one, I don't know why, but I just find that one most comfortable. But if you like to, you can rest forehead to the back of the palms, or maybe down to the mat. And we'll make our way out here, so pressing back up through those arms. This time we're going to lower that left hip to the mat, so bringing both legs around in front and come into our boat pose and Navasana. So we'll start with those feet on the floor. We'll lengthen out through the fingertips, relax shoulders as we open the chest. Option to take those feet into the air, so bringing those shins parallel. That tummy tucking in, core in nice and tight. Take a breath in at the top. Exhale, lowering gently all the way down until those heels rest to the mat. Head coming down into our final rest, our Shavasana. If there's anything else that we'd like to move through first, we're welcome to take that. Just if we're in our final rest, making any last little movements that we need to. Getting ourselves completely comfortable. Enjoying these last few minutes of complete rest.
starting to bring our awareness back into the breath. Feeling that rise and fall of the chest. And then bringing our awareness to our sense of hearing. Listening out to all the sounds of the morning going on around us. Whether it's nature or man-made. As we bring a little wriggle to the fingers and toes. We'll inhale our arms up overhead, nice and long. Take that full body stretch. Last one, fingertips to toe tips. And then rolling over to one side. Gently bringing ourselves up to a seated position. Taking hands to heart center as we inhale, lengthening up through the crown of the head, sitting tall as we feel those shoulders and shoulder blades relax down. Taking this moment to first of all check in, to just notice how we're feeling at the end of our practice, maybe a little bit more energized for the day ahead with our power flow. Grateful for taking this time out of our day, whether it is early in the morning or whenever we're able to come to our mats or feel best to practice. We're still taking this time to practice this self-care. As we bow our heads to our hands, we honour ourselves and each other with Namaste.